Hey Rangers, this is Miss Murphy back again with adding and subtracting decimals, but this time with word problems. Solve each problem. Okay, Luann went to the store to purchase some items for her family trip. She purchased a bag of apples for $4.37, some cookies for $3, and a chip variety bag for $7.38. What was Luann's total? Well, first we need to figure out what is some important information in this word problem and what are they asking us to answer. We want to know what is Luann's total. So because I'm dealing with word problems, you should have your math language page open. Hopefully, virtual learners, you took those notes when it was posted, going over multi-step problems. I'm getting mine out. If you don't have these in your notebook, I would pause right here and write down all the words that means addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So again, if you don't have these written down, pause now and then finish the video. Okay? Moving back to my word problem. So even though you can't see my math language notebook, just know it's right next to me. Okay, so when I see the words total, that jumps out to me. I remember that word being located under my addition column. So I know I need to be doing some adding. So I'm going to write a plus sign above total. But what is my total? How am I going to get my total? Well, Luann went to the store. And we should know when we go to the store and purchase some things, the cashier has to add all of the items together. So what items did she purchase? She purchased apples for $4.37, some cookies for $3, and a chip variety bag for $7.38. So remember our rules for adding and subtracting decimals. We must first write the problem vertically by lining up the decimal points. So even though I said these numbers in money language, it's still a decimal. So I'm going to use my graph paper because that's going to help me line up real nice and neat and I'm not writing all over the place. So my first item for apples was $4.37. Each digit gets its own box. Some cookies for $3. Now wait, that's a whole number. I don't have a decimal, but if you look back to your notes that we just took today, if you have a whole number, the decimal goes after the number in the ones place. Well, I only have one digit in the ones place, so I know I'd write 3 decimal. Now I'm good. I'm lining up my decimal. And a chip variety bag for $7, and 38 cents. Okay? And I'm adding. Don't want to forget my sign, my operation sign. Now, the next step to add or subtract decimals, fill in any empty spaces in the problem with zeros. Well, I have empty spaces, so now my $3 as a whole number becomes $3 as a decimal. Easy peasy. Add or subtract as you normally do. So let's get started. 8 plus 7 is 15. Carry my 1. 1 plus 3 is 4. Plus 0 is still 4. Plus 3 is 7. Then come to my ones place. 4 plus 3 is 7. 7 plus 7 is 14. Now remember, Luann's total is not $1,475. That would be very unreasonable for a bag of apples, some cookies, and some chips. So don't forget the last step. Drop the decimal point straight down into your answer. So Luann's actual total for everything Luann's total is $14.75. And I'm done. All right. Let's try one more. The Smiths' destination was 838 miles away from home. They planned to take 3 days to get there. They drove 250 and 4/10 miles on the first day and 286 and 7/500 miles on the second day. How far did they travel on the third day to reach their destination? So I have to think about something. Well, first of all, what are they asking me to figure out? They want to know how far they traveled on the third day to reach their destination. So what information do we have? We know that the total trip is equal to 838 miles. We know that they plan to take 3 days to get there. They drove 250 miles on the first day and 286 and 7,500 miles on the second day. So if I know my first and my second day, can I use this information to figure out how far did they travel on the third day? Well, I could just use repeated subtraction. I want to know how far, what is left. So I can take my total and then subtract my first day and then subtract my second day. So let's do that. This is a multi-step problem. The first step into subtracting decimals is to write the problems vertically by lining up the decimal point. So I'm going to start with my total, 838, but that's a whole number. What do we have to do for whole numbers again? If you have a whole number, the decimal goes after the number in the ones place. Excellent. So let's add that decimal. Now I'm ready to subtract my first day, which was 250 miles and 4/10. Okay? Remember, your total always goes down first. The second step, if you have we did that whole number. Fill in any empty spaces in the problem with 0. I have an empty space. All right, so now that I have filled in my empty spaces, now it's time to subtract as I normally would. 0 minus 4. I can't do that, so I need to borrow. My 8 now becomes a 7. My 0 now becomes a 10. 10 minus 4 is 6. 7 minus 0 is 7. 3 minus 5, I can't do that, so I have to borrow again. 13 minus 5 is 8. 7 minus 2 is 5. Last but not least, drop the decimal point straight down into your answer. My decimal point is after my ones place, so it needs to be dropped right down. So remember, this was only day 1. So after day 1, the Smiths family still had 587 and 6/10 miles to go. But remember, we also have the information for day 2. So now we have to subtract that as well. On day 2, they traveled 286. Remember, decimals line up on top of each other. And 7,500. This is day 2. My numbers are lined up vertically. So I'm going to the next step. I don't have any whole numbers. Next step, fill in any empty spaces in the problem with zeros. I have an empty space. I'm going to fill it in. Now, subtract as you normally do. 0 minus 5, I can't do that. So I have to, just so I have some room, I'm going to rewrite my problem down here. Because when it gets all bunched up like that, that's how we make mistakes. And I don't want to make any mistakes. I have all the room in the world. Okay, we already said 0 minus 5 we can't do. So I have to borrow. 0 becomes a 10. 10 minus 5 is 5. 5 minus 7, can't do it. Have to regroup. 15, 5 becomes 15. 15 minus 7 is 8. 6 minus 6 is 0. 8 minus 8 is 0. 5 minus 2 is 3. Final and last step, drop the decimal point straight down into the answer. All decimal points should be directly on top of each other. They are. Now, this is my remaining amount of miles after day 1 and day 2 was subtracted. So I know on day 3, the Smiths family still have to travel 3,8,500 miles. And that's all, Rangers. We still solve word problems the way we would with whole numbers. This time, we're just working with decimals. All right, good luck on the assessment, the independent practice for today. If you have any further questions, email me, or if you're in another class watching this, email your math teacher, and we will be more than happy to help you. Until next time, 5th grade.